All right, guys, so I'm doing another tier list for the 2024 GOP nominees. Now, this is my second time doing this, and I'm actually a lot more excited to do it this time around than I was first time around because, quite honestly, I think I have a way better grasp of the candidates and who they are and, their position currently right now than I did probably a few months ago when I did this. And I will continuously do these tier lists periodically throughout the next 4 years or whatever, because I want to see how they evolve, right? I want to see how my gut feelings, how accurate they are in regards to understanding the base and who has the best chance of winning. Now, I will say right off the bat, before I get into this, listen, a lot of this is just going to depend on whether or not Trump runs or not, okay? Because if Trump runs, a lot of these people just won't run. And what we're really going to see is going to be Trump versus the establishment. That's what it's going to be. So, really, I mean, this tier list, I guess I'm doing it based off who I think has the best chances of winning overall. Again, a lot of it will depend on whether or not Trump runs. And the candidates that are going to be on the list are candidates that I think have indicated that they may run, or I think have a legitimate chance of winning if they run. So if I leave somebody off that you like, I'm sorry. Okay, but I'm just putting the people up there that I think either have a very good chance or that have indicated that they may run. So let's go ahead and start here because I don't want this video to be way too long. So, all right, in the F category, we got Liz Cheney. Okay, we got Liz Cheney for obvious reasons. She's indicated that she might run in 2024 to oppose Trump. She has no shot. She has no chance whatsoever. She's a neocon. She's not really bringing anything new to the party. She wants the party to go back to the party of her dad, Dick Cheney, and George Bush. That's what she wants. She will never win with that messaging, in my opinion. Second F, Mitt Romney. Okay, now I honestly don't think Mitt Romney is going to run. But, there is speculation that he will, but I really don't think he will. I think he's going to tap out. I think he's going to be done with politics. I think that the base really does not like Romney for various reasons. And at this point, I think he should just go ahead and pack it up. And I don't think he will run. But if he was to run, he definitely would be in the F category for sure. All right. So now for the D category, Nikki Haley. I'm putting her as a D. And the reason why, guys, is because although Nikki Haley is the establishment favorite, okay, she was the favorite after Jeb Bush. Everybody thought it was Nikki Haley's turn. I think the comments that she said about Trump after January 6th, I think it really showed a lot of people who Nikki Haley actually is. Okay, she is like the rights version of Kamala Harris. She really is. And I think that because of that, she really bit herself in the butt, okay, by coming out and saying those comments. And I think that because of that, she's going to have a hard time trying to win back over the base, even though I don't think she'll have a problem winning the establishment. I just don't see how she's a very strong candidate at this point. Now, don't get me wrong. I could be wrong with this, right? I think she could easily be a C because I think that a lot of the establishment really likes Nikki Haley, but the establishment is not running this GOP anymore, right? This is now the Trump populist GOP. And I think that she's upset too many of those people. So next up here, we're throwing Christie in the D category. And the reason why is because Christie has run before. I know he definitely ran last time. And he just never really catches any steam, right? He has this whole like tough guy, tell it like it is, like mantra, right? And I'm like, okay, we have a better version of you. It's called Trump. You also have DeSantis too. Okay, so if you have Trump or DeSantis in the race, I don't see how Christie's tough guy persona is going to be appealing, right? It wasn't appealing before. I don't see how it's going to be appealing in the future. And he's also pretty establishment. I also don't think he's a super likable dude. I just don't. So, there wasn't much room to fit him up here. But I found a way to fit Christie up here, if you guys know what I mean. All right. So now in the D category, I am going to throw Mike Pence in the D category. Now, I will say, I think that if Trump doesn't run, Mike Pence could easily be a C or a B, because he would be the closest thing to what we had under Trump, considering how he was the vice president. Now, it seems that Mike Pence is dead set on running in 2024. But I just think that the base does not like Pence. Okay, I think that the base feels betrayed by Pence for various reasons, whether they're right or wrong. And I'm not sure how he can recover from that, especially if Trump runs. Okay, if Trump runs, I just don't see why Mike Pence would even try. So I just realistically think he doesn't have a chance if Trump runs. If Trump doesn't run, I think he has a better chance. But even then, I just think there's too much damage that's been done, whether it's his fault or not. You know, it is what it is. But I just don't think he has much of a chance. So that's why he's getting a D. And then in the D category, we have Marco Rubio, whom, you know, there's been rumors out there that there's going to be some people that try to primary him. Okay, and I think his seat is coming up in the next couple years or so. So, you know, if he was to run, I don't think he would have much of a chance, you know, unless something drastically changes. He is pretty pro-Trump. You know, I think that there's a lot of kind of mixed signals going on with Marco Rubio here. So I'm throwing him in the D because I just don't get good vibes that he will be able to put up much of a fight in this current GOP. Now, he did fine back during 2016. I think he came in he maybe came in third, okay, behind Trump and Ted Cruz, the 3 or 4, something like that. So don't get me wrong, I could be wrong about this one. I don't think he's made his image better in the eyes of the GOP since then. I think he might have peaked back in 2016, to be quite honest with you guys. All right, so now we have Governor Larry Hogan, okay? I'm throwing him in the D category. And the reason why is because he's pretty much anti-Trump, right? I think anybody at this point that's overtly anti-Trump, they don't have much of a shot, okay? As long as things stay the way they are. He is more of a centrist, okay? And I think that, you know, he will try to bring back moderates to the party, okay? I think that he's one of those politicians in the GOP that's trying to create a lane outside of Trump, in which he's trying to, again, bring the party more to the mainstream. So with that being said, I mean, in regards to his ability to get moderate and more and non-Trump conservatives, I think that he would probably have a good chance of doing that. I throw him and Nikki Haley probably in the same boat, to be quite honest with you. And then under the C category here, I'm going to throw Tom Cotton as a C, okay? The senator from Arkansas. And the reason why is because he's managed, again, to be pro-Trump enough, okay? But at the same time, kind of keep a low profile. And he's pretty populist. He's not as populist as Josh Hawley, but he's definitely more willing to, you know, think outside of the box in terms of economic issues. And the only thing about him that scares me is that he is a war hawk, okay? He is definitely all about interventionism, and that's the thing that scares me. But I think other than that, I think that he would definitely have a better shot than everybody else down here on my list. And then we also have Candace Owens as a C. I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. I didn't include Candace Owens in my last tier list. And the reason why is because I didn't think that she was really serious, okay? I didn't know if this is actually something that she wanted to do. I still don't know that today. But I do know that, you know, she has been putting out signals that, you know, she wants to run, or at least run for some type of office. And, you know, Candace Owens is pretty popular with the base. She's very popular with the base. But I just think that right now, with no experience, I think that she's a C at best, okay? Now, I think that she would be well suited to be a press secretary. I really do. And I think that that's really what she should be going for. She should go for press secretary. She would be amazing as a press secretary. But who knows? She may decide to run for president. I don't know. But if she did run, I think she would definitely have a better chance than, again, everybody else ranked below her. And then, C, we have Christie Norm. Now, the reason why Christie Norm gets a C, and she's really dropped off. The reason why is because she has failed when it came to the protecting women's and sports policies in South Dakota. Okay, I think she really folded on a lot of that stuff. She talked big game, but then when it came time to execute, she could not execute. She did a lot to get that national spotlight. And when you're in the national spotlight, you have to start executing, okay? When your legislator passes these bills and then you turn around and you send those bills back and you don't sign them because of corporate pressure, that's not going to sit well with the base. And people are going to remember that, especially on issues having to do with abortion and having to do with women's rights in sports. Okay? Those two issues right there, I think if you mess up on those issues, it's going to be really hard for you to recover. I think she'll have a good shot at being picked as vice president. But, you know, in terms of being president, I think at most she's a C right now. And she's definitely dropped down from where she was below. I think in my last video, I might have had her like a B or an A. She's definitely experienced some negativity over the past few months that I think has really hurt her status here. All right, so now for the B category is Tim Scott. And Tim Scott is a B because right now Tim Scott is the best establishment candidate. Okay, he is, right? He has been pro-Trump enough, while at the same time, you know, kind of having a balancing act, right? And he gave an excellent rebuttal to Biden's joint address to Congress. And the establishment really wants to put him out there as the face of the GOP, okay, as the future of the party, as the 2024 nominee. So there's going to be a ton of money behind Tim Scott. And I think that Tim Scott also getting the treatment that he gets from the left in terms of, you know, the racist comments they say about black people being conservatives, I think that helps him as well. Because one thing I have noticed about Republicans, if the left hates you, that bodes very, very, very well for support on the right. Okay, people on the right tend to support their candidates that the left hates the most. So the more hate that the left gives you, the more support you get from the right. And I think that that's really helped Tim Scott out a lot. And with the establishment being behind him, I think he's, again, the successor to Nikki Haley, because Nikki Haley, you know, basically messed up her shot after January 6th. I definitely think that Tim Scott right now his stock is going up. And I've said this 1,000 times, guys, about Tim Scott. He's going to have a big role in the GOP. I think he's right now probably has the best shot of being VP. Matter of fact, I think the VP spot basically belongs to Tim Scott at this point. I really do. There's no other choice for VP outside of maybe Tim Scott or Nikki Haley or maybe Christie Norm or somebody like that. Realistically in 2024, no matter who the nominee is, whether it's Trump, whether it's DeSantis, whoever. I really believe that Tim Scott is a shoe-in for VP, no matter who the nominee is. All right, so also in the B category, Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz, I started to throw him in the C category. I really almost did. And the reason why is because Ted Cruz is just not that liked, right, as a politician. I know the base really likes Ted Cruz, but guys, that trip to Cancun in the middle of an ice storm in Texas, like, that to me is almost something that's unforgivable, okay? And I think that he will have a hard time winning back his Senate seat, let alone trying to win the party nomination, okay? I think Ted Cruz's political career really is on shaky grounds right now. I really do. So with that being said, I still give him a B because I think that the base likes him and he came in second place in 2016. But man, he just keeps doing stuff that is giving people ammunition to continue to go after him, and not in a good way. It's one thing to do something that the right agrees with, but the left hates. But it's one thing to do something that both sides particularly probably don't like. Okay, and that's something that Ted Cruz did that I think will really hurt him. I think it will really hurt his political future. I don't think people are going to forget that little stunt from Ted Cruz and with Cancun. And I know some of you guys say, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a nothing burger. I hear you, but I personally think that it's going to hurt him. That's just my opinion. All right. Also be here, Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State and Director of the CIA under Trump. Again, we don't really know that much about Mike Pompeo outside of the fact that apparently he wants to really run and he's trying to increase his public profile as he prepares to run in 2024. Again, you know, just like a lot of these guys, his viability is going to depend on Trump. If Trump runs, he doesn't really have a chance. Why would you pick him? Okay, but the thing about Mike Pompeo, though, I will say is that, you know, he's going to be a foreign policy guy. That's going to be his strength. He has an opportunity to really set for what the America First foreign policy agenda is. And I think that's his strength, and I think he should play to that strength, and we will see where it goes. But as of right now, we don't really know that much about him. But, you know, considering the fact that, again, he was director of the CIA and the Secretary of State under Trump, I think that he probably would have a decent shot if Trump did not run. So now I'm going to throw Josh Hawley in the B category as well. And the reason why is that I think that Josh Hawley has done a great job of trying to appeal to the really populist base. I think that Josh Hawley also has done a great job of trying to stay relevant as well. The only thing is about Josh Hawley, and it's kind of the same thing with Ted Cruz, you know, with that incident at the Capitol, I think that really hurt his public profile, and I really wish it did not happen to him. I really do, guys. But hey, he's raised a ton of money off of it, okay? And he's really increased his profile with the base, right? I think Josh Hawley is definitely more of a name in the party than he was before that incident. So, you know, there's pros and cons to that move from Josh Hawley. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I currently do see him as a B for right now. All right, guys. So, hey, I got Tucker Carlson. And some of you guys may be saying, you're putting a TV host over all these politicians. Yeah, I am actually, because Tucker Carlson basically is the mouthpiece for the Republican base. He really is, because he's the most popular political commentator on TV. Okay, he basically sets the tone for the culture wars, right? Tucker Carlson was the guy that really led the charge when it comes to exposing the woke military, right? Tucker Carlson is the guy that really speaks for the people to a certain extent. And I think that he does a really good job of balancing the whole anti-establishment shtick with, at the same time, also working for Fox News. And I think if Tucker was to run, he would do a way better job of appealing to the base and being able to get votes and get support than a lot of these other guys will, because, again, he spent most of his time on TV, right? His job is to appeal to the average conservative voter, right? That's his job. And his job is to set the narrative as well, too, which is very important, and that's also a very powerful advantage that he has. I'm also throwing Rand Paul up here as an A. And the reason why I'm throwing Rand Paul up here as an A is because, you know, he is a solid libertarian, right? And the right has a solid libertarian base. I think Rand Paul has increased his likability. I think that he's done a great job of, again, being pro-Trump while at the same time still standing for libertarian principles. I think that when it comes to this pandemic, him challenging Fauci the way he's challenged Fauci, and it looks like, who knows, Rand Paul may turn out to be the winner of that beef between two doctors, okay? I think Rand Paul has won a lot of brownie points with the base. A lot of brownie points. He definitely hasn't done anything negative. Everything from Rand Paul has really been positive for the most part. I think he's really set himself up in a position where if he was to run, I think he would be a very, very, very strong candidate, especially considering his pro-freedom stance during this pandemic. I think that's really, really, really helped Rand Paul out a lot. And he's really leaned into it. He's leaned into it all the way, and because he knows that it's really helping him increase his name brand recognition and win more brownie points with the base. So he's been making some smart moves. Now, obviously, guys, these last two should not be a surprise. I'm just going to put both of them up here together. We're going to have Ron DeSantis and President Trump. Now, let me switch these around. People might think they're getting the wrong idea here. Obviously, Trump is the front runner. But, guys, hear me out on this. I really think that Ron DeSantis, if they both was to run, I think Ron DeSantis would give Trump a run for his money. I really do. And I think as more time goes on, it seems like there's going to be a lot of people that really are going to be thinking about, okay, do we want to go with Trump again? Or do we want to go with somebody that's a little bit more polished, that still has a lot of the Trump-like characteristics, but doesn't come with the hatred from the left that Trump has? And I think a lot of people are going to think about that, and they're probably going to go with DeSantis. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that DeSantis can just outright beat Trump under most scenarios. No, I think that it's probably a 60-40 split right now, Trump-DeSantis, in terms of probability. But I would not underestimate Ron DeSantis' ability to potentially beat Trump in 2024. I just wouldn't. Okay? And maybe some of you guys don't like to hear that, but Ron DeSantis is doing all the right things. He's saying all the right things. A lot of people see Ron DeSantis as a more controlled version of Trump. And I've always said that the best version of Trump is a more controlled version of Trump, in my opinion. When Trump is controlled and he's giving concise messaging, that's when I think he's at his best. And I think that Ron DeSantis does that all the time. And I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people. It really will. But with that being said, I still think as of right now, Trump has the best shot and he is the front runner. And honestly, if he runs, a lot of this competition is going to be eliminated. It'll be Trump versus the establishment. And if I'm Ron DeSantis, I probably wouldn't even run against Trump if Trump decides to run. And the reason why is because you don't want that fight between Trump that could possibly split the base, right? You don't want to do that. If I'm Ron DeSantis, I would just wait if Trump decides to run in 2024. I would just wait another 4 years and go from there. Okay. Ron DeSantis has done a great job of running Florida. I think he would be a shoo-in to be reelected, considering how he's ran the state. I think he can afford to just wait. But like I said, guys, with that being said, I do still think Trump is the front runner. But man, I will say Ron DeSantis, again, in the next year or so, he may take the lead. I don't know. With Trump not being on social media, I think it's hard for Trump to really get his messaging out there and to stay relevant. And I think that's why Trump is trying to start the rallies again. I think that's why he's trying to, try his best to get on these news stations again, to start talking again, because he knows he has to stay relevant. The less relevant he is, the more strength that Ron DeSantis gains in terms of potentially overtaking him as the front runner. So this is my list. I will, again, periodically be doing this updates. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.